What's up, vapes, and welcome to Head in the Clouds.
Head in the clouds, head in the clouds. Come on, baby, put your head in the clouds. Head in the clouds, head in the clouds. Come on, baby, put your head in the clouds.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. This is basically going to be the introduction to the Head in the Clouds series. I'm just going to talk a little bit about dripping here, and then today we're going to do a build, just a single coil build, right around 1 ohms on the iGo W3. For all you noobs out there, or yes, noobs is not a bad word. I was a noob. I'm still a noob at some parts of vaping. So it's not a bad word. If you're new to dripping, or you're thinking about getting into dripping, or you want to get into dripping, I'm going to do this video to show you a basic single coil build, and then that way it'll lead into the Head in the Clouds series, and you guys can just run with that, run with the different RDAs, different builds, and just kind of help everybody out, and just kick off this series, because it's going to be a fun series. Showing you different RDAs, different builds, and how to chuck some vapor. Me personally, getting into dripping and building the coils, getting big clouds, it just came kind of natural to me. I mean, it's not natural to build this, of course, but I just went with it, and I guess I'm just mechanically inclined, technically inclined, I guess. I don't know. I can't say technically because the computer still frustrates the hell out of me, especially when I'm doing my editing. But building these coils, getting vapor, lots of vapor, just kind of came easy to me. So, and I know it doesn't come easy to everybody. Some of you guys are nervous about it, and quite frankly, I think some of you, it just scares you, period, building your own coils and seeing how to, and figuring out how to do these coils. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a basic single coil. I've done other videos on single coils, how to build them, but I figured that would be a good way to kick off this series. And I think deep down, all vapors want to have a big cloud. Not for bragging, not for anything other than just to be able to do it. And the flavor increases dramatically. The more, of course, the more vapor you get, the more flavor you're going to get. So whether you're wanting to blow big clouds or wanting to have that great big burst of flavor in your mouth, dripping, to me, is the way to go. And you can get close to it in a tank, but I just don't think you can get quite the intensity out of the tank that you can out of a dripper. So the build we're going to do today to kick off this Head in the Cloud series will be around 1 ohms, right around 1 ohms. You can use it on some of your variable voltage units out there. So any of you guys that are new to building coils, or new to dripping and you're a little nervous about it, hopefully this video will put you at ease a little bit. And if you have any questions at all, comment below. Join a Facebook group, ask questions there. So let's dive down and do a single coil build on the iGo W3, show you what you need, how to get that single coil set up so it vapes awesome, and kick off this Head in the Cloud series. Alright guys, we're ready to do the build on the iGo W3. All you guys need is a 1.5 millimeter micro screwdriver. That's what we're going to use in this build today. We're using some 28 gauge Kanthal. I got about 6-7 inches here. We're just doing a single coil, so we don't need a whole bunch. To get into building micro coils and to get into dripping and start building your own coils, this is basically all you need. You can pick up a spool of 28 gauge Kanthal for right around 10 bucks. If you go to atomizerwick.com, I will put a link below. You can pick up this spool, I believe, for right around 7 bucks, and it's 100 feet of 28 gauge. I've got several of them. I've got 24. I ordered some 100 feet of 28, 50 feet of 24, 50 feet of 22, and 50 feet of 26 gauge. Shipped, it was right around 30 bucks. So not a whole lot of money for a ton of wire from atomizerwick.com. And like I said, I will put a link below to them because it is the cheapest place I have found to get Kenthal. You guys can also pick up a micro screwdriver set. I got this one at Harbor Freight for right around, I think $5 is all it was. You got your various sizes there. Some of them you don't use, but it's a nice big set, nice case. And I've had this one for right around 5 months, 6 months, I think, and it's still in great shape. So all you need is a little micro torch, or you can go with the big guy like this one here. I picked this one up at Harbor Freight too as well. This is right around $10. And of course, you're going to need some organic cotton. I got this at, I think, Walgreens. It was right $3 for that great big bag. I bought this bag probably 6 months ago, and I still got a ton of it left. I will get into Japanese cotton eventually. I just haven't ordered any yet, or haven't made it that far, I guess. So, also, you're going to need a pair of tweezers. Basically, any tweezers will work. They do have the tweezers with the ceramic end, so you don't have to worry about shortening anything out. That is a very good idea, especially if you're new. I would recommend those. Fingernail clippers work great for cutting the wire. And that's basically it. So, in this iGo W3, it was a 5-post. I removed one of them here to give myself more room on one side. It was just way too tight with the 5 posts in there. You can do a build like that, but it's just too tight. So I just went ahead and removed one of those posts. So alright, let's get started and build this coil here. So alright, we're ready to start wrapping this coil here. I would leave yourself at least an inch of room on your leads here. So leave about an inch out there. And let's go ahead and start wrapping your coil as tight as you can. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now always go past and let that wire will spring back and get your leads. You want your leads coming out in the same direction. Now the nice thing about these micro screwdrivers is you can take that coil, even if it's spread out, and push it against the base right here to tighten that coil up. And there we go. Very easy, guys. Very easy. If you're new to building coils, don't stress it. Now I always like to cut one a little bit shorter than the other one here. It doesn't matter which side, but it helps me get the leads into the posts. Now that you've built the coil, all you need to do is crimp it down in your tweezers here. Ooh, I'm a little shaky this morning. Just like that. You want them as straight as you can get them. And then just go ahead and give it a torch. Once the coil starts glowing, keep the heat going to it for about 15 seconds, and that coil will now be a microcoil. Alright, there we go. Make sure you let that cool and don't burn yourself, guys. Alright, now that we got the coil built, we'll just go ahead and put it back on the micro screwdriver here to help keep a hold of it. So right now, what we got to do is insert the leads into the negative and positive posts. There's the negative, and there is positive, just like that. Now we're going to leave about 1/4 of an inch from the coil to the posts for the legs here. All we got to do is tighten it down. Negative. And there's our positive. All tightened down nice and snug. Now that we got our leads attached to the negative and positive posts, and we've got about 1/4 of an inch there to 3/8 of an inch. See the gap right there? We're going to take the coil and the airflow coming in right there. You want your coil right in front of your airflow. We're going to tip the coil at an angle just like that, and then push it down, and then twist your screwdriver out just like that. There's our coil. Now all we got to do now is trim our leads. You want to make sure that lead coming out is trimmed up close enough. You want to make sure your positive lead coming out is not touching anything, so you want to trim it really close. And there we go. Just like that. Now for you guys getting into coil building and wanting to get into RDAs and dripping, get a ohms tester. I can't stress that enough. Just go ahead and buy one. You can get one for anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks. And trust me, it is worth it. We're at 1.25 is where we came out on that. I had the legs a little bit longer than I had planned, so that's why we're right around 1.2. So alright, we're going to put this on top of the MVP here. That's where we're going to vape it on. Go ahead and heat that coil up. And then let off, make sure you let off your firing button and just crimp that coil down. Now it's heating up from the inside now. Do not fire it. And there we go. Just make sure you're not firing it when you crimp that coil down, or just pick you up some ceramic tip tweezers. So alright, let's wick this bad boy, shall we? So alright guys, we're ready to wick this. Let's go ahead and pull off some cotton here and go ahead and twist one of your ends down to a point just like that, and then slide it through the top part of that coil. Grab your tweezers and grab a hold of the cotton coming out the end. Now it's snug going through, but it's not moving that coil. Just like that. See how easy that is? And we'll just trim that end that we twisted down off. Now all you gotta do is tuck that cotton down in there. I like taking this and tucking it over the top of the coil, right down on the back side there. And then we'll just tuck that one down in the juice well. And there we go. How easy was that? Alright, now all you gotta do is saturate your cotton here. We're gonna use some of Killer Juice's vanilla milkshake. And put some juice down in there. Get all your cotton saturated. I know I've gone over this before. Alright, we'll see how she fires. Very nice. Alright, we'll come back up and we'll give this a vape. Alright guys, that was easy. Check it out. Look at that. That's off an MVP. So alright, let's put the cap on and see how this single coil at 1.2 ohms will vape. On the MVP at 11 watts. Look at that, guys. This is 1.2, 8 wraps with 28 gauge. Let's give it another vape. The vapor speaks for itself. There you go, guys. So to all you noobs out there, or you vapors out there that are nervous about building coils and getting into dripping, you want to, but you're just freaked out about it, don't be freaked out about it. Just make a small investment, get yourself an ohms checker, a set of micro screwdrivers. You can pick them up really cheap. Some Kenthal wire and some organic cotton, and you're off and running. That's a great cloud off an MVP. I gotta say, 11 watts. You put this on 15 or 30 watts. Wow. And in this entire series, I will put a link below to steam engine. You guys can put in the gauge of wire that you're using. Actually, let's just go over. I'll show you the website now. All right, guys, here we are. This is Steam Engine's website here. You just come over, put what kind of wire you're using here. Kenthal A1, round or flat. You can put round, twisted parallel, ribbon, all the different types of wire here, and your gauge. See, 28 gauge wire, tells you the millimeter, the diameter of it in millimeters. We're doing a single coil. You can do dual coil, triple coil, quad coil, parallel, dual coil series, and so on and so on. And this is your target resistance here. You put in where you want it at, 1, 1.2, 1, and over here it'll tell you the diameter of your coil. That's the size of micro screwdriver you're using, and it's in millimeters. You can change that over here to standard right there. I do all mine in millimeters because that's where my micro screwdrivers are in. And this is your leg length, how far your coil is going to be away from your posts, and it'll tell you how many wraps to do. Full wraps, half wraps, 8 to 7 wraps right there. 8 wraps is what we went with. We went a little bit higher than our target resistance of 1, but our legs were a little bit longer. So alright guys, Steam Engine is a great resource. I use it all the time. It'll work out great for you guys if you're new to dripping. Look at that, guys. 1.2 ohms on an MVP, single coil, 28 gauge, 8 wraps. The vapor's great, the flavor's great. So there's no more excuses, guys. If you're worried about building coils, getting into dripping, don't want to sub ohm, you know what? You don't have to. But the rest of this series, we're definitely going to be sub ohming. But hopefully this will give you guys a start into building coils, into RDAs, and hopefully settle a little bit of your nerves there. Use Steam Engine, use an ohms checker, and you should be good to go. But as always, in all my tutorial builds and my coil builds, you know, build at your own risk. If you need a little help, message me, or there's a lot of Facebook groups out there where you can ask your questions and get them answered if you're new. Remember, there's no stupid question. There's only stupid answers. You gotta love the clouds, you gotta love the flavor. Alright guys, that wraps up the kickoff video to my Head in the Clouds series. The first season will be a 5-part season. We'll have 5 episodes in the first season. And the first one we're gonna start out with is the Zenith V2. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day, and remember, live and let live. Have fun living your life, and have fun watching people live theirs. And don't be afraid to put your head in the clouds.